Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Short Corner podcast. This is episode number 12. Bit of a different one today. Obviously, normally we talk a lot about like what's going on in the Milan world, results, reviews, transfer, stuff like that. And there will be more stuff to come on that. We're going to be doing a little transfer roundup of like the latest rumors, and then we're going to be doing a ratings video of all of the Milan players from this season, from all the good players and all the bad players, and we're going to be doing a review on that. But yeah, today we're going to be focusing on Euro 2020 and the first round of fixtures, which has just finished. Some interesting stuff, some sad stuff, some controversial stuff, and yeah, we'll get stuck into it, and we'll also give you some like previews and also what we think are like our predictions for the rest of the tournament. Unfortunately, Joe's not here. He's still nursing his wounds from the Scotland result against Czech Republic, but I can't get too cocky because England have got Scotland on Friday, so I don't want to get too cocky too soon. But yeah, we're joined by Naim, Rid, and Samir. You guys want to say hello?
Hey guys.
Hello everyone, good to be back.
So yeah, we'll get straight into it really. So we'll go through them like group by group, and we won't like do a full like 20-minute review of every game, but we'll just pick on the most important and interesting things. So obviously Group A, the opening night. So it was Wales 1, Switzerland 1, which was a pretty just like nothing game, just both teams played okay. But then Turkey, Italy. Rid probably as our Italian representative on the podcast. I think it's only right if you give what you thought of that game.
Yeah, sure. I'll start from Turkey. I think everyone's expecting much more from Turkey. I think a lot of people had them down as the dark horse, the team that might surprise us. But in the first game, there was none of that. I mean, it looked like they were just they just picked 11 players, just throw them in the pitch, no tactics, nothing. And which was a shame. I mean, from a neutral perspective, it was a shame because I think they have good players that can make things happen. But from an Italian fan, I was like, that's perfect. I mean, we dominated the whole game, 1-3-0. And I was really I was expecting a win. I would have been very disappointed even if it was a draw. I mean, we had to win the game. On paper, with by far, I would say the best team in the group. And I think we should be winning all 3 games. But yeah, I really like what I saw. I was pleasantly surprised by a lot of players that I wasn't expecting them to do that well. Like Chiellini, I was like, he's finished, but whenever he puts an Italian jersey, he just rolls back the years and looks like the player he was like a decade ago. But then again, he didn't have that much to go against Turkey. We didn't attack. There just was nothing there. It was just I keep forgetting his name. What's the Turkish captain, the Leo player? I keep forgetting his name.
Yeah, Yilmaz.
Yeah, he was like the only threat, but with all due respect to him, he can't do it all by himself, even though I think he's a great player. I was very happy with it. Insigne played very well. The whole team played very well. I mean, Immobile, Spinazzola played incredibly well. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I really was not expecting him to turn into Roberto Carlos or something like that, but he did against Turkey. And looking at the next game against Switzerland, which is actually tonight, we should be winning. The Wales and Switzerland game, as Matt said, was a nothing game. There wasn't anything in it. I was expecting Switzerland to win, really. So they're not coming from a good game. And honestly, we should be easily winning against Switzerland and Wales as well. Don't see them as real challengers. Don't want to be too cocky, but I think we'll be fine. I think we'll make out the hood, as Samir would say. Yeah, your thoughts on that group, guys?
Italy looked like the proper favorites. What a strong opener from them. Turkey, like you're saying, on paper they look great, right? Like Yaziki, Yilmaz, Çalhanoğlu, Demiral, Soyuncu. But on paper, like obviously if it wasn't played on paper, but Yilmaz didn't really get into the game. He's by far the best player. But my observation from that game is that Turkey didn't have like a link-up player. Hakan was dropping deep, if you guys noticed, in the second half to try to create chances because he has to. Like they didn't have like a Sergista to link play between the defense and the midfield. So Hakan had to drop deep. It was just a horribly executed game plan. They didn't. I think for the first half, we didn't even see Donnarumma. We didn't see him. That's how much domination Italy had in that first half. That's pretty much it. Other than that, Bernardeschi came on, somehow dropped a 2 out of 10 performance. First 10 minutes. I don't know how that's possible, but hey, Bernardeschi, that's how it is. But those are my thoughts on the game. Solid performance, really.
The Italian Castillejo.
Italian Castillejo, yes. Samir.
I actually thought Italy would be Turkey would be the dark horses this Euros. Everyone was hyping them up, like a low-key hype. And then, the whole team just pulled the Hakan. Like I did not see anything from them, not from the defense, not from the goalkeeper, like from no one. And I think Italy is actually the dark horse. I know people are hyping them up, but I feel like they can actually do it. They're the only team like so far like very consistent, from the defense to the goalkeeper to the midfield to the attack. And I really feel like they can like top their group. I don't see anyone else doing it. I thought Turkey, might pull a surprise, but no, it's just Italy. They're just very good.
Yeah, I was quite happy to be fair because I'd kind of. It's going to sound like bollocks now because Italy played well, but you can ask my mates. But I actually predicted Italy to win because the whole Euros, I predicted that like a couple months ago because I don't know. There's just something about Italy just at the moment with Mancini. They just look so solid. And I saw something that Rio Ferdinand was saying that there's no like star man. Like you see, like the potential ego problems at France, whereas like Mbappe's having a bit of beef with Giroud and Benzema and all that's going on. At England, obviously, there's like the whole debate about like which right back should Grealish play, should Foden or Mount play. But at Italy, it just seems like there's some sort of unified attempt to like obviously win the Euros, and they just look so solid. They've not lost for ages. The defense looks incredible. And then obviously they've got like the quality up front with like Chiesa, Berardi, Immobile, and Insigne. So yeah, I was quite happy when my somewhat bold and unpopular prediction of Italy to win it was sort of justified with their amazing performance. Like Samir said, they're the only team that's like really wowed me so far this tournament. Like Belgium won 3-0 against Russia, and like England won, Netherlands won, France won, but none of them really like blew me away. But Italy's performance against Turkey, I don't know if it was like the Bocelli there before the game. I don't know if it was because of the Italian national anthem or because of it being at the Olimpico, but there was just something about that game where Italy were just on fire. So yeah, really good start for them. And obviously as Milan fans, I feel as if all of us kind of have like a second a soft spot for Italy. And I was saying to Naim before the pod that like if England don't win it, I want Italy to win it. And yeah, I think they will. Moving on now to Group B, there was obviously the sad occurrence of Eriksen's collapsing on the pitch. And yeah, that was just awful to watch in England. I'm not sure what the situation was around the world, but BBC kept showing it. They kept showing the whole broadcast of it, and you were just watching it, and it was like one of those things that you just like you didn't want to watch. It was uncomfortable to watch, but you couldn't look away because you wanted to know if he was all right. And obviously, as a Leicester fan and as a Milan fan, I was so proud to see Kasper Schmeichel and Simon Kjær sort of comforting Eriksen's wife and being like honestly such great leaders on the day. It was such a sad event. And obviously now, like moments after he got took off the pitch and the game got like postponed for a bit, there was brilliant news that he's fine and now he's like stable and he's posting on Instagram, which is obviously really cool and really positive. But yeah, I think it put into perspective for all of us that like Denmark versus Finland, like it's a football game, but then when something like that happens to someone in front of family and friends and spectators, it just shows and epitomizes and makes us realize like how like fragile life is and how you just kind of just value every moment of it. And that football, obviously we all love it and it's a massive part of all of our lives, but when something like that happens, it puts it all into perspective.
I think that topic raises another question of how Simon Kjær reacted to the situation, how he helped his friend Eriksen, and that's it. He knew something was wrong, and he reacted immediately with every action was a proper leader. He's a captain. So that brings us to the question: is he a better candidate over Kessie for the armband? What do you guys think?
I mean, for me, I think at the end of the day, I mean, I wouldn't complain if he's captain. I think even before what happened that game. He showed skills that he's pretty much been the captain for the whole season without actually being the captain. Like if you look at every game, he's the one organizing defense. He's the one screaming at people whenever Ibra's not doing it. Like, and I think that's not something that Romagnoli has. And that I have nothing against him. I just think, some people have the skills when they're just born with it. They just have it. And I think he's just one of those people who just has it. And, having him in our team as a player and as a just man, as a human, it's just amazing. Like what he's done, just going back to what Naim said, like what he said, there's a difference between, knowing what to do in certain scenarios and actually doing it. Obviously we all know, someone passes out, they need to breathe, you need to clear the airways and everything. But if it's your, friend and then you just see it, I was watching and I was shocked, let alone, I can't imagine what they were feeling, but just the fact they was able to act, so quickly and pretty much save his life just says a lot about him. And then, then the game went on. In terms of the game, I have nothing to say because it should not have gone on. And, I don't think anyone cared at the end of the day how the game finished. And, I have nothing to say for the teams. But in terms of going back to what Naim said, is he a better candidate? Yeah, I mean, I think even before this, I said he showed better leadership skills than Kessie. I think Kessie still has to grow in that sense. But even if he doesn't get it, he's still going to be a captain because he's always been ever since he joined us. And I don't think he's ever going to stop doing because just nothing that he has.
Yeah, I think when we were having this debate a few weeks ago, I was maybe not against Kier, obviously, because we're all willing to admit that he's a great candidate, but I was more along the side of maybe someone who is more of a shouty sort of leader, like we said Calabria, didn't we? Calabria is one of the candidates, a local lad, someone who's like supported Milan for ages, someone who's very like he's got the grinter, hasn't he, as we always mention with Gattuso and stuff like that. But then you see like obviously no disrespect to Calabria, because again, I think he is, especially long term, he's definitely a candidate. But you see what Simon Kier did. It wasn't just captain stuff, it was absolute hero stuff. It was like some out of film. It was absolutely incredible. It was heroic. It was so brave and so I can't even think of the word, because I think a lot of people would have frozen, and I think people would have been excused for freezing. You see a lot of like the more inexperienced players in that Denmark team. A lot of them didn't know what to do and you can't blame them for that. But then you see the likes of Schmeichel and Kier, who were just proper men, proper just heroes. Yeah, that's kind of in my mind now when the new captain is announced and stuff like that. If it's Kier, then it's at the point now where I think we've all got to hold our hands up, whether we want Kessie, whether we want Ibra, whether we want Calabria or whatever. I think we've all just got to say, like, Simon Kier, I think we'd all be proud to have him.
Yeah, hats off to him.
Yeah, massively.
And the referee and
everyone, honestly, everyone.
Yeah,
everyone was like so quick.
Yeah, except UEFA and BBC, I would say, because they said the players requested to carry on playing, but then later on, the players were saying they were basically threatened, you either play now or tomorrow, or you lose 3 points. And then I think it was the Danish coach who was saying, like, for COVID, the game can be postponed for 2 days, but if someone literally just dies on the pitch, has a heart attack, like what Eriksson pretty much did, then it doesn't really matter, which just shows the priorities is completely wrong.
No, you could tell that the Danish players, they weren't all there, and like mentally, the blunder from Schmeichel, you don't expect that from a keeper of his caliber. And then the penalty by
Kier had to come off. Yeah, Kier came off like after 10 minutes, we just couldn't play. Like, it's even if they say yes, but they'll say well-being, just not something you do.
Exactly. Like, you could tell they weren't there. They didn't want to play, and the UEFA made them play. It's disgusting.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, what matters there, he is okay. And even though there's questions about whether we can carry on with his career, that's not what matters at this point. But yeah, should we quickly go through the rest of the groups?
Yeah.
Well, in terms of Belgium and Russia, the second game in Group B, Russia just never got on the pitch. They were just never there. Belgium again is one of the favorites to win the tournament. They easily did it. They had 62% possession. Russia was just never there, and that's what I expect from Belgium. To be fair, I think they're one of the best teams in the tournaments. They had likes of De Bruyne and Witsel missing, so that just goes to show how good of a team they are. They had arguably the best player missing and still played very well. So yeah, nothing much to say. I think Belgium is probably the favorites in that group. Anything to add on that?
No, I think that was a game like you see like a more competitive game like Wales Switzerland. You saw the Netherlands Ukraine game the day after. Those were games where it's like, oh, it's in the balance, or oh, this could go one way or the other. But you just saw like Belgium against Russia. The commentator was talking about how in Russia they almost feel as if they've had their moment, their quarterfinal run, and almost getting to the semi-final of the World Cup, hosting the World Cup. There's almost like this acceptance that we're never going to get any better than that. And yeah, it must have been frustrating because I was frustrated as a neutral. Like, you're at home, you're in St. Petersburg, just go for it a bit more. Like, push some players forward, try and get an equaliser, try and get a winner and stuff like that. But yeah, they just didn't turn up, and Belgium's quality shone through. And like you say, that's with no Hazard, that's with no De Bruyne, that's with no Witsel, who, like, obviously people wouldn't say he's better than Tielemans, but apparently, obviously I don't watch a lot of Belgium, but apparently he's like key for their system. So yeah, when they get all their players back, similar to Italy, really. Italy didn't have Verratti. So when you see stuff like that, Belgium and Italy both winning 3-0 without some of their key players, it's for someone like an England fan like myself who's hopeful that maybe we could go far, it's a bit depressing.
Anything to add for that group?
I think it was Witsel who would have started over Dendonker, not into Tielemans.
I mean, probably would have been De Bruyne, Witsel, someone else, because they played with a five
instead of like Carrasco or Thorgan Hazard.
Yeah, it was nice to see Thorgan Hazard and Eden Hazard play on the same flank at the end as well. Two brothers, Should we move on to Group C?
Yeah, so that was
Austria, North Macedonia, Netherlands, and Ukraine. Well, I mean, the biggest thing to say is probably the Netherlands versus Ukraine game. I think everyone expected easy Netherlands win, and so far it's probably been the best game for the tournament, I'd say. They were winning 2-0 Netherlands, then Ukraine was able to equalize 2-2 in the 85th minute. Dumfries got a goal, so it was the best game. I mean, I was pleasant. I mean, didn't watch the game, so I can't really comment too much on it, but I was surprised that Ukraine did that well, even though they have nothing to show for it, because at the end they didn't win the game, but I was surprised they did quite well.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised that they put up that much of fire, but I was kind of expecting in some respects, purely because they've got Sheva as their manager. I just thought that with him as their manager, there's no way this team are going to play boring. Like, this isn't going to be like Steve Bruce, who was a centre-back his whole life, so that's why Newcastle play boring. This is going to be like Shevchenko, even though he's the underdog, at all possible moments, he's definitely going to play attacking. And you saw Yarmolenko's like moment of brilliance. And I think, if Ukraine's remaining fixture, obviously North Macedonia, which you'd back them to win, and Austria, who, like, they looked okay against North Macedonia, but again, they didn't blow any team away. They didn't ever really look like some sort of like wonder team. So I think if Ukraine can beat North Macedonia, maybe get a point against Austria, then they'll go through in second or third. And it'll be nice for Shevchenko to sort of progress with Ukraine, with his home nation, and do well. In the Austria-Macedonia game, I think one thing that was nice to see was when a small team like North Macedonia reach a major tournament, you don't want them to go home with no goals, 100 goals conceded and no points. So it was nice to see that North Macedonia got their goal with Pandev, and they had
it was nice to see him score.
Yeah. So like even now, if they go home bottom of the group, the fact that they got that goal with quite a lot of fans there, that was nice. And
I think it was their only goal, right? He's the youngest scorer. He's the
oldest.
At the same time,
most hair, less hair, whatever you want to say.
Yeah. No, I was actually happy. I thought maybe they can, pull it off. He was the first one to score. I don't know, Pandev always scores like he's in like always in the perfect position at the
Perfect,
right
yeah.
time. Every time
And I
he scores,
think he
he wins.
deserves it.
I know, like his position is really good. Like all the CI
Yeah.
goals he scored, like most of them, like he just happens to be there. I'm like, how is he there? Like
Yeah, and
like
it's always
deflection,
against Milan as well.
yeah,
Somehow.
always against
Always
us. Like
against Milan.
like any kind of deflection or
He's
rebounds,
there.
he's just
Yeah.
there. Like I mean, I'm happy for him. Happy
I
for
mean, yeah,
them.
that's a skill, isn't it? That's what like
True,
Inzaghi's whole career was based on, just being
Actually
the
true,
right players at
yeah.
the right time.
Yeah,
But I think
true,
in terms
yeah.
of Pandev, because he's had a long career, he's 37. He's won a lot with Inter, and I just have a lot of respect for him because he's not the best player ever, but at the same time he's just someone who can see he enjoys football and just keeps going, and then he comes up with these little moments that will go down in history because he's from North Macedonia, and like he's the captain. It just feels right that it was him at the end of the day, just getting the goal after
There's
pretty
something
much dragging them there.
In the Austria North Macedonia game with Marko Arnautovic scoring.
Mm.
I think North Macedonia had a player of Albanian descent, and he said, "I'm gonna go F your Albanian mother," is what he said, and you can see Alaba telling him to stop him. He did eventually get banned, or not banned, a suspension for the Netherlands game.
For a day, yeah. I've never liked him as a player. I think he at West Ham, I think it was, he just forced his way out of it. I don't know, just one of those players I just never really liked. And that just, I feel like that's something Rebic would do. If I have to be honest, I feel like that gives me massive Rebic energy. But
literally,
maybe I'm a bit biased because Rebic plays for our team, but just not something I really liked. But I liked Alaba just bitchy grumpy and be like, shut up.
Yeah, like shut the fuck up, man. Yeah. No, I really I want to respect Pandev. I think he's a treble winner, right? With
Him
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, him
Yeah,
and
like
Arnautovic are both treble winners.
Oh yeah,
he won the treble
10.
with Inter, and then he put Macedonia in the tournament himself. He was the one who scored the goal.
Yeah,
right?
he dragged them into it, didn't he?
Yeah, to get them. Yeah, and he was the first one to score. So I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
But this group is ending with, I feel like, Netherlands first, most probably. Even though I don't trust Frank de Boer, I feel like he's a very shit manager. Even Jose, never liked him, so I never like him. And I feel like Ukraine can pull it off. Like if they win against North Macedonia and win against Austria, they might be second.
Yeah. I honestly wouldn't write North Macedonia off, in my opinion. It's very unlikely, but I feel like every major tournament, there's always that underdog story. I can think of 2014 Costa Rica, last World Cup Russia, and I feel like North Macedonia had just that potential to at least make out the group stage and knock someone like Austria, Ukraine out. But if I had to go for a more reasonable one, it would have to be Netherlands and Austria. I think Austria, because they got a win already. I think obviously the ones that get the first win are always in the better position, but I think Netherlands and Austria are the ones that are going to go through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did we talk about Netherlands? The one they
we talked. Yeah.
Milan had a nice goal, right? I think it's the second best goal for me in the tournament so far.
Yeah. I think the most interesting group that also links to what just Naim said, the best goal of the tournament is the Group D. England, Croatia, Scotland, and Czech Republic. And can I return the favor? I think it's only correct if Matt starts us off with the England-Croatia game.
Yeah, I was quite happy with it, to be fair, because that's the toughest team we'll play in the group, and to get the win straight away is nice. It wasn't like a dream start where like Kane scores a hat trick and like loads of people score, and it's like a brilliant performance, but I think it's a performance that you can be happy with. It was defensively solid. They got the goal, could have had more. Foden hitting the post, Kane like almost sneaking in at the back post. So it wasn't, I think 1-0 is like a decent result. Obviously you would have wanted it to be more, but I was quite proud of Southgate. I was happy with Southgate because a lot of people are against Southgate, and I think it's almost become like the populist opinion to slag off every single decision that Southgate makes when he's been our best manager for the past 20 years. And everyone always was like, pick players on form, not for who they play for. So then he picks like he picks players on form and then he gets slagged off, and then if he doesn't pick players on form, he gets slagged off. So I feel as if the England job's always been described as the poison chalice and as the worst job in football, the most pressurized job in football. But yeah, the decisions to like the starting lineup decisions, they were questionable. I feel as though people were overreacting with Sterling. I was talking about Naim. I was talking with Naim about it before the podcast started. That I feel as if Sterling is someone who Southgate trusts. I think he's probably the most capped player in that England squad. He's one of the most experienced, which is mental considering how like relatively young he still is. So I feel as if when he picks Sterling, it's maybe not because he's the most formed player, but it's because he's someone who he can rely on, and he came up with the goal. And the only one I didn't really agree with was Trippier at left back, because there's Luke Shaw, there's Chilwell. It's almost as if Southgate is admitting his right back fetish, like live on television in front of millions of people. But yeah, it was a very odd decision. But again, he got it right. We got the win, and it like I said, it wasn't the most amazing performance like Italy, like Belgium, where they got a dream start of like loads of goals and a really convincing win. But yeah, England controlled the game. They were happy to take the 1-0 and move on to Scotland. And if we beat Scotland, then we've pretty much topped the group. And yeah, can't really complain, to be honest. And yeah, we'll see where it takes us. We were talking in the group chat the other day that there's some England fans who think that England are the greatest team of all time, and just because we've got Grealish or because we've got Kane, we're going to win it. I'd like to think I'm more on the side of caution. I'm more of an England fan who would take a quarterfinal or take a semi-final. And I'd like to say that I think we've got a decent team. I'm happy. I'll enjoy watching England play. But just because Calvin Phillips had a decent performance doesn't mean that he's the next Pirlo or the next Gattuso or the next Kaka. So
all three combined, like they said, for some reason, yeah.
Yeah, good performance, but
he's a whole Milan midfield.
Yeah, all in one. Yeah, that's where the Sydney fans come about.
Yeah, just picking back from what Matt left off. I mean, someone living in England but not gonna support England unless Italy gets knocked out, which probably will happen. But watching the game, I mean, from Croatia, Rebic was asked. He was playing striker, so he woke up in the ass mood. But you can't blame him. He's not a striker again. That it just showed it. And I think in the first half, Croatia was just a bit unlucky because I think the second half was just purely England, wasn't it? Except a few here and there. But yeah, in terms of England, as Matt said, wasn't most convincing. But I think it's not that big of a deal right now. I think they're gonna improve as the games go by. I think they have so many good players. I think when Matt said, if Sancho doesn't play, Southgate gets insulted and stuff like that. But low key, that's like a blessing in disguise. Like I was looking at the bench, they got Grealish, they got Sancho, and I'm like, fair enough to them. The starting lineup was still very strong. Like it wasn't like a terrible lineup. I think people were overreacting. So I think England does have a really good team, and they have a good manager. As much as people don't want to give credit to him, he is a good manager. He is doing well. He brought England to the semi-finals of the World Cup. Yes, his choices are questionable sometimes, but at the end of the day, if you get the result, you get the result. That's what matters. I think all fans would rather get a win with Trippier up top instead of Kane or anything like that, just exaggerated. And at the end of the day, in 2 weeks' time, no one's going to remember that Trippier played left back. They're all just going to remember, we won the game, that's it. So at the end of the day, I think Southgate gets too much hate for no reason. Maybe getting five right backs called up or something like that, it's a bit excessive, but if it works, it works. And I think Matt is being humble, but I think England can definitely make it at least to the quarterfinals or semi-finals. They have a good team. Anything else to add, Naim, Samir, for that game?
I was going to say, Rebic pulled out his clown form.
we either a 10 out of 10 or a 0 out of 10. No in between. We saw what happened with him. He's not a striker. He shouldn't have played there, but he had Perisic or whoever it was playing left wing, so it's unlucky.
Kramaric playing on the Anything to say, Samir? Should we move on to the Scotland game? Which Joe was here
I don't mind England, but I really don't like the fans or the media. Like we saw, man, Phillips, like Gattuso, Kaka, Pirlo combined, Man, it's like the media really makes us hate them. Honestly, like I'm a casual fan. I don't care about Euro. Just I'm like I support Brazil, but then just like the media is like way too hype, man. Like
I
think I
think
saw someone
Modric was
already.
saying that as well.
He was. What he said was
and he's
actually
spot on. Like
spitting.
I won. I wouldn't mind England winning, but the amount of Pickford is the greatest goalkeeper of all time, I would say, is what just makes you want to just cry. Like if they win it, fair enough, but they're gonna be like, oh, it's the best team ever, better than Spain 2012 and everything like that. Which, no offense, good team, but you're not the best team ever. And I know
not even close.
And I know people would be saying that. And I feel bad for like people like Matt who are actually reasonable fans because they probably get hit as well. Like, oh, you're England fan, huh? But yeah.
Yeah, with the English media, like you say, it's either full on hype with the best team ever. Grealish is better than Messi, and Kane like better than blooming Pele, or it's slagging off the players and like going on like the Sun and the Daily Mail going on racist rants about Raheem Sterling and like Marcus Rashford and stuff like that. And yeah, the media and some of like the jingoistic, like over patriotic England fans. Yeah, you've got, like I said in the group chat the other day, for every one fan like me or my friend Phil or my friend Joe, like there's 10 like over hyping, over exaggerating England fans, and it's a shame, but that's my country, I guess. So we just have to.
It is England.
Like Son is the worst. One day Sterling is
the Son.
One
day Sterling is like Pele,
ever.
and the next day they go like, is he even English? Like, bro, it's just
No, it's sad that these same people they're praising Sterling, the same fans will go on just racially abuse them. I was just thinking that when Sterling scored, it's just sad.
Yeah, at the end of the day, just more deep-rooted problems in England, which we're not going to get into this podcast. Scotland, put Joyce in here. I'd like to see Joy's reaction.
Since Joe's not here, I'd like to, go ahead on that one.
From a Scottish accent.
I don't think I can do it as good as Joe can, but I'll try my best. See, Scotland, I think they were unlucky. They actually had chances. They could have scored multiple times. Robertson had a really good chance early on. I thought Scotland were the better team, but just Czech Republic, just one of those games where they pulled something out of the bag. Just a shake, it became Czech Shevchenko for second. His header was just fantastic. It's a really good goal. It was unlucky that Scotland had to concede that way. And then the second one, my lord, I was just watching it, and he like the angle, it curved, the ball curved away and went back into the net. It's just a fantastic one of the goals. It's almost, I put it almost at the level of Zlatan Ibrahimovic versus England, the bicycle kick.
Wow, didn't it? It was one of them goals.
Like he struck it first time, and just the fact he had the awareness to see the keeper in that position from that far out.
And the ball was going away from him. It's easier to hit it that hard when the ball is coming towards you. Like it's going away from you. It's so much harder to get the power and the precision to hit it that hard. So fair play to him. He was ass at Roma, but it seems like his career is picking back up. I don't even know where he plays now. It's like Leipzig or something.
Leipzig,
I believe so.
Yeah. Fair enough to hear. I mean, it's a great goal. Nothing can be said about. I mean, you can ask questions about what the keeper was doing, but that takes nothing away from what he did. So
I think that would be goal tournament. Like I'm calling it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, unless someone else pulls Zlatan 2012.
If it goes to a fan vote, I think Ronaldo will get it just because of all the Ronaldo fanboys on Twitter. But if it's one decided by his
penalty.
Yes, penalty.
It was a good penalty, to be fair. So I think that perfectly links to the final group. Portugal. No, it's not the final group. Never mind. There's one more. Poland, Slovakia, Spain, Sweden. I think that was the one where I was most surprised in general. I mean, I was expecting Poland to win. I didn't know Hamsik was called up. I realized he's only 33. I thought he was like 37 or something. He plays in Sweden.
He's just been hiding in China or wherever.
Yeah, and now he's playing in Sweden now. I think he's joined.
Wow.
It was it was good to see him play. And Kuchka as well, a former Milan player. But yeah, I was expecting Poland to win. I think on paper they have the better team. They have Lewandowski up top, so like you just pass the ball to him, he'll just net it most of the time anyways. But was surprised because I was expecting Slovakia to win. Szczesny scored an own goal and Skriniar scored.
I actually disagree with the Szczesny decision. I think Robert Mack should have gone to that goal because he shot it.
And it's just a near post Chelsea blunder. Like, I don't think it had the qualifications to be deemed as an own goal. I think Mac should have been awarded that.
Yeah, it was hard.
I mean, Szczesny could have done better, I guess.
Definitely.
Yeah. Anything else to say on that game? Didn't watch that game, so I can't really comment on it.
Lewandowski disaster class is what I have to say. Disaster class. It's just Lewandowski wasn't even in the game. He was a passenger.
Yeah.
Shambolic. Milan Skriniar scored though.
And Szczesny, so like two surreal boys.
Yeah.
You guys see the Skriniar goal though? His body position. He's so funny.
He's built weirdly, but it just works for him. So, Spain versus Sweden, which was the weirdest game I've ever seen. Probably they had like 75% possession of the ball. They had like 17 attempts against Sweden, who had 4. They had 80 attacks. Sweden had 12, and they had 852 passes. Spain against 103 of Sweden.
It's ridiculous.
It's and the 0-0. I mean, what can you say? I mean, Spain playing Spanish well as always. Take attack and all that.
So I want to bring up that game. Alvaro Morata just being his usual self. Just garbage. He missed 2 clear-cut chances.
He renewed for Juventus. That's our biggest signing.
Actually.
And Isak is the other one. Isak was very good. For me, man of the match. His feet are just so quick for someone that tall. You only see that with someone like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, that his feet are that quick and he can dribble past that many players. So
I think if Ibra was playing there, Sweden would have probably won the game.
Oh, yeah, man.
I think
for sure, like 3-1.
Isak, he's only 21, 22. He can't be expected to carry Sweden's whole attack like that, especially when they get no support from the midfield. And there were so many times where the 2 strikers were pressing, but the midfield wasn't, so it was pointless anyways. I mean, I should sign him. I think if Ibra can like bring him in, that would be great. I think only Messi in the Liga had a goal to assist ratio or something like that. So just shows how good it is. And I think his price is gonna like triple by the end of this tournament. And
100%, like 60 million.
Yeah, and in today's market as well. Like, and he plays for what, Real Sociedad, I think it is.
Yeah.
So they'll probably try to cash in because it's not the biggest team, and But besides, I mean, Spain, they just terrible in the attack. I mean, when you have 75% of the ball, 80 attacks, and you score none, just says a lot about your attack. Nothing else to say. Spain was just terrible attacking. Sweden was more than happy just to sit back and not lose. I think that was their game plan. I mean, when you play against Sweden, when you're Spain and you're Sweden, if you don't lose, that's probably a win.
Yeah.
And they defended well. Well, Spain attacked badly to the point it seemed like Sweden was defending very well. But nothing else to say on that game. Anything else?
Actually, no. I saw Seb Larsson, and the one thing I want to add about these international tournaments: Yuri Zirkov for Russia, Hamsik for Slovakia. Like Seb Larsson, I thought he was impossible. No, like
he's in not the same guy or something playing as well.
I was thinking, surely it's not the same Seb Larsson who played for Sunderland. Yeah. And I checked my phone, like, holy shit. Okay, what?
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
It's good to see them still just kicking around.
Yeah.
Who we thinking makes out of these groups? Okay, we'll just go for the groups at the end, and then we'll just give one prediction who we think makes it at the end.
Spain and Sweden, I would say.
I will just go for them at the end again, so we just have a proper one. Group F, which is probably the group. Not probably. It is the group of death. Someone between
Yes.
Portugal, France, and Germany, or two, are gonna be knocked out.
Mhm.
Probably not, because Hungary looks terrible.
Yeah.
But Hungary, Portugal, 3-0. Ronaldo stat padding. As usual.
usually does.
As usual.
We can't beat this guy, man. He was so
Nah, to
shit
be
for,
fair,
like, I'm like, you need them, obviously, like the penalties.
yeah. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but I mean, Portugal was terrible. First half,
Yes.
they had so many chances, just couldn't get the ball in. And then once Guerrero scored, and I think once Renato Sanchez came on, like he just changed the game. He's so good. Then
I think
no story.
Andre Silva changed the game. Not
Andre
Okay.
Silva, yeah.
that's
His
100%.
presence, just his presence.
Yeah, just
But yeah, I mean, you know, you can hate all you want on Ronaldo, but you know, he's now the top scorer. Even though he has twice as many games as everyone else in that list before, he has top scorer in the Euros. I mean, Hungary looked bad. I mean, I don't expect them to make it out. I mean, I wasn't expecting before, and if anything, I expect them even less to make it out. I think Portugal, they're a good team. I mean, if they can actually make something concrete out of the attacks, which they were not able to do till the 84th minute, and even then it took a deflection for them to score the first goal. If they can fix up that, which I think they will, because they have the players to score, like they have Ronaldo, they have Diego Jota and everything. They're a good team. I think they're the reigning champions of Europe right now, and I think they have a good chance of making it through, even in that group.
Yeah, I think
the fact they have the likes of Neves, Felix, they have some really, really good bench players actually.
Yeah.
So it's good depth.
Matt, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think if you look at the Portugal game and the Spain game, very similar in the sense that you've got Sweden and Hungary, two teams who are expected to like not top the group, and Sweden maybe a bit more expectation, but Hungary zero expectation. Like they were two teams who are willing just to play 11 men behind the ball and just defend. And I think you saw that the difference between Spain and Portugal. Spain, like 2010, they would have someone who could like just light up a game like an Iniesta or a Fernando Torres or a David Villa or something like that, or a Pedro, whereas now they don't have that and they couldn't break Sweden down. And those sort of players are now at Portugal, where you've got Ronaldo, you've got Joao Felix, you've got Bruno, you've got like people like that who can break a game down. And I think in these sort of tournaments where like defending is properly key, if you can keep clean sheets, then like you're in a very strong position. So a lot of teams may play defensively and may try and put like a lot of people behind the ball, and the fact that Spain couldn't break down Sweden is worrying, and I think it's reassuring for Portugal that unlike Spain, they didn't fall victim of like a difficult, stubborn defense, and they had the quality that shone through one of the best players of all time, through like was it Rafa Silva? His turn for the penalty was incredible, and that was something that Spain lacked. And I, I think Portugal, they got a bit lucky, but I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, and to be fair, you can't blame Hungary for playing the way they're playing when you're in a group against Portugal, France, and Germany. Like if you get 3 draws out of those games, it's a win for them, isn't it?
Exactly.
France and Germany. Pogba was great in that game.
This was like the highest, like the biggest game so far, right?
Yeah. Bit disappointing it was at the end, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Pogba masterclass though.
Pogba played really well. I mean, Germany, I think they had the most possession. I think they had more attacks, and they just couldn't score. I think it's similar to Spain, not to the same extent, but just couldn't score. And I was looking at the lineup. When I saw the lineup, I was like, "There's no strikers in this." Has Guardiola taken over Germany? Because I don't see any strikers in here. You have Havertz and Gnabry, who you could argue could play as strikers, but they're not strikers. I would have at least put Voller and Timo Werner down. And they came on a bit too late, I think. France had 2 goals ruled out correctly. I think they were both offsides. The Mbappe goal was mad though. I just wish that stood because it was so good. He's so good. That Hummels tackle was so good as well. Like respect to him, because obviously he's not as quick as Mbappe, but the way he just covered the experience and everything. fair play to him. And like I think he tackled it through Mbappe's legs, which is even harder because any contact he goes down and you get a red card. So that was fair play to him.
Almost like Nesta versus Messi, and
yeah.
He did well to recover.
Anything else to say on that game?
I just think it was interesting, the Pogba thing, like we said, like if you look at him at Man U, it's almost like, and I don't want to be that guy, I don't want to be the Graham Souness, but I think he would admit even that he's more motivated to play for France than he is with Man U. At Man U, he's been treated badly by a lot of his managers. He's had struggles with injuries. He's had like the pressure of the stupid English media, like we mentioned before, that he's like a awful footballer and he should be playing in like League One or League Two just because he's not got 50 goals for Man United. And so, but with France, he just seems liberated, doesn't he? He just seems like, he seems like Juventus Pogba. He seems like the Pogba who could just like tear up at any game. And the passes for the goal and the disallowed goal, it just showed his quality. And we've seen that stat that's been bandied around everywhere, him and Kante when playing together, not lost in 28 or something silly like that. If those two can just control the midfield like they can do, and like they've shown they can do, that they just look unstoppable. Again, Griezmann, I'm not someone who watches a lot of La Liga, but you hear that since he left Atletico at Barca, he's been struggling, and only like towards the end of this season has he like sort of picked up some form. But again, with France, he looks unreal. Mbappe, we all know how good he is. And France, if they get out of the group, which now it looks like they're pretty much are, they will get out of the group. Like they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, and it's hard to see any team really genuinely stopping them. And it's just going to be mental.
That's what the likes of N'Golo Kante gives you, right? That positional freedom. Like Pogba knows he can just go off and wherever he can, but he knows Kante's right beside him. He'll make those interceptions. He'll make those defensive tackles
beside him, behind him, in front of him, everywhere.
Kante's everywhere. He's fantastic player. I personally think if France win Euros, he has a very good claim for a Ballon d'Or winner.
Definitely.
If Luka Modric, off that World Cup campaign, he made the final off those bases, Snyder should have gone and won. Just off that pure basis, Kante should deserve one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. Anything else to add? Anything else to add on that?
I was like really excited. I mean, the match was good, but I wanted like more goals.
Yeah,
and
I think as Matt was saying, everyone's going to be very conservative this tournament.
The big teams.
But
and Mbappe is just impossible to stop. Like the goal he scored, I was just mad. And almost really did, the tackle. It was very good. The game was good, but I wanted like more goals, more like. And I feel like France gonna most probably win the Euros. Like that squad is just mad.
We'll do that at the end. You're spoiling it.
Shit! I
think a lot of people will agree with it anyways.
Yeah.
So we go through group by group, say who we think is gonna make, and then the end just say who's gonna win. Okay, so Group A: Turkey, Wales, Italy, Switzerland. What are we calling? I'll probably say Italy and Turkey. I think Turkey still has a chance.
Italy for me.
I say definitely Italy, and I think that this Wales-Turkey game in a couple of hours' time, that's going to be big. And if Wales can like sneak a result, a bit of Bale magic, a bit of Dan James pace down the side, or Aaron Ramsey with because he turns up in big games, he did with Arsenal. And I don't know if I'm being biased from a British perspective, but I feel as if they can get something from the Turkey game, then they could do it. But if you're looking at it on paper, and as we've said, football's not played on paper, but if you look logically, Turkey have got more quality overall throughout the team, and they should do it.
I'm gonna say Italy and Switzerland. It's a bold claim. Actually, guys, Russia just went up on Finland. So
it is. For Group B. Group B. So that is Denmark, Belgium, Russia, and Finland. And Russia is currently winning 1-0 against Finland. So Belgium, Russia, Finland all have 3 points currently. Denmark has none. So I think, Belgium. And I don't know who's second. I mean, if Russia is winning, probably Russia. It's a bit sad for Denmark because I would put them as definitely going second. But I think the first game completely compromised everything. And it just doesn't end there, does it? Like, you don't just recover from that and just keep playing. So unfortunately, I don't think they're gonna go through at this point, which is a shame because it's not their fault. It's not anything on how they played and everything. But I think Belgium and probably I'll go for Russia. I think Russia's a good chance of going through now if they win this game.
I think with Denmark, it doesn't help that their first game after that is Belgium, because I feel as if after the tragedy that happened on was it Saturday? Yeah, I feel as if they could, if they had Russia, maybe they could bounce back against Russia, and then they'd be on 3 points, and Russia would be on none.
Plus, they've lost the best player arguably as well.
Yeah. So it's going to be hard for Denmark to come back from that. Not for any footballing reasons, because footballing wise, they're the second team in that group. But as if Russia could. Yeah, if Russia hold on to this win against Finland, then they're in a good position to go for in second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would
say Belgium first, obviously, and all of us thought Denmark is going to be second, but then the Ericsson thing. Also, it might maybe motivate them, to maybe like win it for him or something like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like Finland's gonna be second. I feel like they're gonna be dark horses. Not like win it,
do better than expected.
Yeah, I still feel like because they had a goal today and it was like offside or something, so they took it off. I still feel like it's gonna be Finland, Belgium, Finland, Denmark, and Russia.
Okay. Naim?
Yeah.
I was saying I think it's gonna be Belgium, Finland, Russia, and Denmark. I think Finland's gonna go through.
Yeah, okay. Group C: Ukraine, North Macedonia, Netherlands, Austria. I think I said that earlier. I think Netherlands and Austria probably gonna go through.
Netherlands and Ukraine for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll go Netherlands and Ukraine. I'll back Shevchenko to get the job done.
Like we should.
Yeah.
I'll say Netherlands and Austria, top 2 for me.
Mm-hmm. Group D, probably one of the most interesting one. Croatia, Czech Republic, England, Scotland. I would go for England and Croatia, I think.
I think we all would.
That's same.
Yeah.
Same.
Group E: Sweden, Slovakia, Spain, and Poland. I'll probably go. This is a hard one because obviously Spain hasn't won. Spain and Sweden drew. Slovakia is currently sitting at the top because they won against Poland, and Poland is sitting at the bottom. And I think a lot of people just say Spain and Poland to go through. But I think at this, I don't know. Spain, I think they might be coming second at this point. And Slovakia, I feel like they'll probably come first. Or either Spain comes first, Slovakia second. So Spain and Slovakia for me.
Yeah, I'd say Spain and Slovakia. I feel Slovakia getting a win. Because obviously the four best place teams go through as well, don't they? But if you're talking even top 2, I feel as if Slovakia getting that win to finish second, all they'll realistically need is a point against Sweden, and I think they could do that. So Spain and Slovakia, and maybe we'll see Hamzik pull off an upset in the knockout.
One last dance.
Samir?
For me, it's Spain, and then either Sweden or Slovakia because they have Milan Skriniar, Kuchka, and Hamzik. So but I feel like it's still gonna be Sweden. If they can score the chances they get.
Yeah, I think it all depends on the second game, but again, it's easy to make predictions when there's only one game left anyway. So
true.
Naim?
I'm gonna go with definitely not Poland. I'd say Slovakia and Spain are my top 2.
Okay, well, the hardest one now, Group F: Hungary, France, Portugal, and Germany.
Everyone's gonna say not Hungary.
I think Hungary is gonna. No, I'm kidding. France is definitely going through, and I think whoever wins the game between Portugal and Germany is going through. But I'm gonna base this on what I've seen from the first games. It looks like Portugal is more likely to go through. Germany in the last World Cup, they got knocked off in the knockout stages, and I think that might happen again. So I'll go for France and Portugal.
Yeah, same. And I think Germany will need, sorry, yeah, I'm just saying
because
the four of the third place teams go through, but Germany will need like a big win against Hungary to like go through, because it's not like the four best teams go through, it's the four like best performing teams. So Germany will need, say if they lose against France, which they did, and then lose against Portugal, they'll need to beat Hungary like 5-0 to go through on 3 points. So I think France and Portugal and Germany will need a big performance against Hungary to sneak through into the next round.
Yeah. Naim?
I would say Portugal. They're the tournament favorites, so I think they're gonna make it out of that group. Germany, not so much. I watched a lot of Germany games during qualifiers. They didn't look that impressive to me. So I'm going to say Portugal and France are the top two to make it out of there.
Yeah. Samir?
Same. France first, Portugal second, Germany third, and Hungary is going to stay Hungary.
Yeah. I think with Portugal, they just find a way to score with Ronaldo at the end. They just find a way to do it. So I think they'll do the same. Do we all want to predict who we think will win the whole thing?
I think maybe after the group stages, even though spoiled it.
I mean, I'm gonna say I think Italy's gonna win it. Probably jinxed it now. We're probably gonna lose against Turkey tonight and then end bottom of the group. Knowing my luck, probably just jinx the whole nation. But I think we have a good chance. But if we have to be more realistic and go a bit safe, it's obviously gonna be France, because their B team could easily make the quarterfinals, semifinals.
Yeah. Matt, you're
For
gonna
me,
no, Matt, you gotta say it's coming home, man.
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying that. I believe in 20.
You gotta do it for the culture.
You gotta do it for the culture, Matt. Just say it.
For the culture, it's coming home.
There we go.
Yeah.
But for my non-Brexit football opinion, I'll say that, like Rid said, your head says France, doesn't it? Like they're world champions. Last night they didn't even play that well and they won. But I feel as if Italy could do it. They look so good. They look so solid. They look as if, like I said, there's no sort of like Ronaldo versus Bruno, Grealish versus Foden, Benzema versus Mbappe. There's no sort of big drama. There's a comeback sort of arc in it with the 2018 World Cup like failure to qualify. And I just feel as if I predicted a month ago and my friends were like, what are you on about? And I was like, trust me, they'll be good. So I think I'll stick with that. And then if I'm right, then it'll be more rewarding than predicting France to do it. So I'll say Italy.
Samir?
France. They have the best team on paper. They have all the positions covered, like they have like from defense to goalkeeping to midfield, attack, they have everything covered. So for me, France.
Perfect.
I would say I'll go with Red, say Italy. I just think I have a good feeling with them. They don't have superstars, but they have a squad.
Yeah.
They have a squad. This is a good team and one of the better teams in recent years. So I'm gonna go with Italy.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, should we wrap it up?
Yeah.
Matt,
Cool.
can I wrap it up?
Yeah, lovely stuff. So I think it's been another good podcast. Obviously a bit different to our normal Milan stuff, but it's football and we love football, so we'll talk about it. And maybe in a week or so, or when it gets to knockouts or a bit later on, we'll talk a bit more. And maybe some more shots happen. Maybe North Macedonia would have qualified. Maybe Scotland will have qualified, and Joe will be happy or Joe will be depressed. There's so many things that could happen. We've seen in this opening week that there's so much stuff that just have come out of nowhere. So we'll be back with more Milan stuff, like we said, with the transfers and the ratings of our of the Milan players. We'll surely be giving Castillejo a 0.
Little spoiler.
That's our preview for the ratings review. But thanks for watching. As I said, we'll be back with more stuff soon. So not Forza Milan this time, but Forza Milan in the future. So we'll see you on the next one.
See you guys.
See you.
Yeah.